Angry guy here, and men have abandoned society and are living carefree, happy lives. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, please help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already have it, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. So let's begin. Men have abandoned society and are living carefree, happy lives. I want to go ahead and jump into a comment that I received on one of my videos where it was titled, Men Are Celebrating Lives Without Women. And there's an interesting comment right here. So the comment came from Black Crow 8295, and he says, I make $55,000 as a data analyst. I sleep in my sleeping bag in my one bedroom home. And I love it, Angry. At 29 years old, I am debt free since getting this job at 23. So he's been doing it for 6 years now and have been saving so much. I love the floor. And if I can marry the floor, I would. Less is more. Heads up, Big Chief. From one Asian to another, we got this. Japanese women love making snoosu on the floor. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then there's a response. And this, of course, his comment got 9 likes, but there was a response from someone else that says, You, sir, are a top G. In Cali, we share an apartment with 4 guys, and it's a blast. In LA, we have a 2-bedroom apartment, and we split the rent, which is $3,500, into 4, making it $875. My gosh. It's a brotherhood in savings, and we got bros to play video games with and stay away from the harlots and streetwalkers. Jesus help us. And then there's another comment, and this one is from Night Cali. No, this was that was no. This one is from Chicken C10 responding to Night Cali, the guy who has like this crazy lifestyle with like multiple apartments. It says, GG, yo, you guys gotta try Tekken 8 and have fight nights. What a game for newcomers. And the music, whoo boy, the music and customization is out of this world. So thank you guys for sharing this. I wanted you guys to see just what I am talking about. This is absolutely insane stuff. This is just a sneak peek of how these men are living. I told you a lot of dudes were sleeping in sleeping bags on the floor. This guy's making $55,000 a year. He loves sleeping on the floor. Absolutely loves it. This is one of the perfect examples of these types of guys. I told you, you cannot get them to stop sleeping on the floor. There are a lot of dudes who prefer sleeping on the floor. And then you have other guys who are just splitting up the cost and just chilling with other dudes, playing video games and living happy lives of excess. They all have money and they have no problems. No women, no children, no problem. It's pretty crazy. As men, we are walking capital because we bring our value to the relationship. Whenever we get into a relationship with a woman, even if she makes more money than we do, we're still going to be the ones who have to cover everything in the relationship, which is the reason why it's kind of foolish when we're trying to court the woman when it's the woman who should be courting us. If you think about it very carefully, it's actually the woman who should be paying for our meal. It's the woman who should be, paying for the date. Think it's reasonable, because if you are doing business with someone, for example, if there's person with a lot of money, that you want to do business with, that you want to attract attention from, you will usually take that person out to lunch. It is normal for a person who is less wealthier to take a wealthier person out to lunch because they're the prize. For example, if you wanted to go out with Warren Buffett, you would invite Warren Buffett out to dinner. And of course, you would be the one to pay for it because Warren Buffett is the prize, and you are trying to gain access to his, doing business with him, to his influence. He's the prize, right? And so think about it carefully. We're the ones who are interviewing women for a job, right? We're interviewing them for a job to basically provide to us whatever we're looking for, and yet we're the ones who are like approaching them, kind of like begging them to be with us. Kind of like, okay, is this okay? Is that okay? And then they take advantage of us, leveraging physical, the potential of physical intimacy when it's a complete and utter joke, and maybe if you're lucky, after months of dating them, you may get access once or twice to something that Chad and Tyrone got for free. How absolutely foolish is this, guys? That we're doing things like this. Well, not us, because we've graduated from that. Most of us have learned our lessons, right? But it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. As you can see, these men have abandoned society. They've walked away. These are men walking away from Western society and relationships in Western society. They only engage with society as much as they need to, and they're living life on their own terms. And when you're a single man and you have your living costs under control, so you have the cost of rent under control, cost of food under control, it feels like you just have unlimited amounts of money at times. I'm just being very, very serious. Like, it's kind of hard for me now. I mean, I have a pretty good income, and I can just kind of buy whatever I want. I literally, I just went online and I picked up a new MacBook Air, and as you can see, I've been able to pump out more videos for you. The video quality has improved significantly, and really, I spent about $1,200 on this thing, but I could have spent 2 grand. And it's like kind of crazy as I've gotten older, and I'm no longer chasing women. I'm no longer looking for relationships. It's changed everything. I'm not going out spending money on women. I'm no longer spending money on ladies of the night. And as a result of that, it's like there's just all this money. And it's like, because like, it's your instinct to save money, but then you kind of realize, bro, I could have spent $3,000 on a MacBook, and it wouldn't have even phased me. I could have literally, like, I look at it now, I was like, I have a 16 gigabyte. I could have got a 32 gigabyte for $2,000, and it wouldn't have phased me. And it's really stupid. Like, right now, I have a Steam Deck. I just purchased a $700 Steam Deck. It just came a few days ago, and I'm loving it. Like, I was really depressed because I've been kind of miserable. I have a Nintendo Switch OLED, and I haven't been playing it much. And I got the Steam Deck, and I put the screen protector on it, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, I don't care. And then I just loaded up Final Fantasy VII Remake because I really wanted to play Remake, but I didn't have a PlayStation 5 when it first came out, or whatever. But I loaded it up, and I usually don't invest a lot of time in playing games, and I literally put in, I could not believe it, almost 3 hours, 3 hours on the game in one day. And some of you might say, well, that's not a lot of time. Well, guys, don't forget, I'm always making videos for you. So I'm constantly working, putting out content for you guys. And I put in 3 hours on this thing. I was like in absolute shock. And for me, it's like I'm looking at my future right now, and I'm planning to, maybe I'll visit. I'm hoping to visit Japan next year. So I'm not going to go this year. Hoping to visit next year, and the thing is, and then move there over the next 2 years. The thing is that it's like money is becoming so interesting for me. I could just go to Japan, and if I could just buy a house if I wanted to. I'm thinking at this point, like, because like there's a lot of options over there. As a foreigner, our money is going so much further. I could buy a house in Japan. I could buy a house because in Japan, what they tend to do is just like build houses, and what Americans do is we'll buy an old house, we'll buy an older house and just rebuild the house. And I can go to Japan and just buy a house, especially in the country. I could buy a nice house in the country, and I can own a house in Japan. And it's kind of ridiculous for me to say this, But it's just like, wow, if I went to the Philippines, I could buy just buy or build a nice house for like $20,000, you know? And again, that's just it's just another reality of it for us men. You know, like the guy who makes $55,000 a year, you can go to the Philippines and build a house for $20,000, a big house. Like guys, we can go over to these countries, Mexico, Philippines, Dominican Republic, Colombia, and not just these, not and there's so many others, Thailand, and with like $20,000, we can build big houses that would cost 200 to even $400,000 in the United States, depending on where you were building it. And this is absolutely ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and we can live like kings. We can live like kings. It's madness. It's madness, guys. No wife, happy life, and we don't need wives if we want female companionship. We just have multiple girlfriends, and when it comes to women, that you would think less is more, but more is more. The more you have, the better it is, because when you have just one girlfriend, you have to understand a woman always has multiple dudes on the side. They always have multiple dudes in their phone. They always have multiple dudes that are in wait for them. And it's absolutely ridiculous because they try to keep us locked down. Even in the Philippines, these women, they're better, they're higher quality than women in Western society. But you have to understand, the Filipina is still a woman, and she has other men that are courting her actively. And she is not, and if a better deal comes along, don't think that she won't consider taking it. While you have a better chance of having a more loyal woman, they are still women. And one of the reasons why they get with foreigners is because foreigners have significantly more money than the men in their countries. Foreigners are also more likely to date a woman who comes from a lower socioeconomic class than a man in their own country. For example, if a woman was raised in a piggery and her family was eating, like, there's a name for it, but like food from the trash and refrying it, a guy, it doesn't matter how pretty she is. It does not matter how pretty she is. Many Filipinos who are in middle class, they will never date a woman like that. But a foreigner will go to this country and he will take her and he will turn her into a lady. And he will give her a wonderful life. And he's more and foreigner men are tend to be more forgiving. They tend to be more forgiving, more accepting, like guys, like Filipino guys, they're very choosy. They're very, very picky, and they really don't tolerate a lot from the women over there. I'm being so serious. They will walk out, like, foreign, like women in the Philippines. They practice this thing called tambo, but you have to understand, like a lot, like Filipino men, they'll just go to their side chick and make the side chick their main chick. Like, that's really how it is. And it's not just the Filipino men. It's like that in Mexico. It's something that I was like, what? When I lived in Mexico, I was like just shocked by the culture. Like, everyone was cheating over there. It was like a normal part of the culture. Like this one chick, she told me that she cheated on who was a her husband who was a doctor. But what she didn't, no, no, he cheated on her. Her husband cheated on her, but the thing is, she cheated on him, but he was also cheating on her. So they were cheating on each other, which she never told me the entire story of. It's like, what the heck? Like, this is the insanity. He was like, and he's like, it's like, I don't know, no, no, no. It's like the story is madness. Everyone was cheating on everyone. So the and this is how it is in other countries as well. You know, if as men we need to stop with this loyalty thing. I'm not saying that you can't be in a solid relationship, but just like women have dudes on the side, you always need to have your prospects. For example, you need to have women in your zone, in like in basically a friend zone. All right, you need to have women in a friend zone. You do, that you're talking to actively, and that you can basically just pick up and take on whenever you want to. I'm just being real. Like, if you get into a solid relationship, you should have women in that zone, because women have a bunch of guys just laying and waiting for waiting for something to happen, just like so that they can just swap you out. And the way women operate is like they will mentally divorce themselves from you before they ever file for divorce from you, or before they ever break up the relationship with you. They've already mentally broken up with you. And that's how we have to operate as well. For example, we decide that, what, I'm not going to tolerate any more of this nonsense in the relationship, and we need to basically mentally separate ourselves and mentally break up with them before we even actually break up with them. And and that's just like how they play these games. So basically we do all the work psychologically in our heads. We already know we're going to break up with them. We've already gone through everything. We've already mentally broken up with them. We've already been working on moving another woman into their place, and by the time we break up with them, we've already done, it's already, all the work has already been done. And that's how women operate. So that's how they operate. So why do you think you should be playing loyal? The only thing that may ever be loyal to you is your mother and your dog. That's it. That's really it. The only things that may ever be loyal to you are your mothers and your dogs, and sometimes not even our mothers. Sometimes not even our mothers. The only thing that may ever be loyal to you is honestly your dog, you know. And the only one who will never lie to you is Jesus Christ, And I find that as I've gotten older, and as I've put God first, and I don't focus on others, I don't really care what happens to anyone else. They say if you don't love your brother, you can't see the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, that's absolute garbage. Your salvation is not dependent upon love of man. And this is how these psychopaths operate. They try to get you to believe that if you don't love them, then God will not accept you into his kingdom. You can't go to heaven if you don't love men. That's exactly how you end up in eternal damnation. If you love man too much, then you're turning away from God, because man will turn you away from God. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Men have abandoned society and are living carefree, happy lives. What do you guys think regarding this? I want to know your thoughts about everything we discussed here today. So let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.